have something like when we go to Invest Fest. I think we should have just a lot of just material for people to see and check out, so they can come out next year. I missed last year, and I
So did
really
I,
wanted to
and
go last
I
year.
wanted to go so bad last year, and then I just kept putting it off until the point where I just ended up not doing anything. It was just like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, okay. And I kind of planned it with some other people,
Mm-hmm.
but you know how it goes in the group text, like it just be that one person left, and I really should have just went by myself.
Was it all black people in the
Yeah,
group?
of course it was.
Well,
Of course it was.
everybody always agree, and then when it's time, it's like
You said, "Huh? I
start
thought
tapping
y'all
those
said we were
pockets.
splitting the room," and then it's
6 people
just.
per room.
I'm
Tapping
not trying to
pockets.
bunk up like college. I'm not saying let's ball out at InvestFest, but I am saying let's sleep comfortably.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
we
I
can.
mean, you want to get the information, but you don't want to go home and be like, you know what? I can't sleep like this, and
I
I
can't.
can't digest
I
everything that I learned today.
can't.
I can't digest all the great things.
Because somebody's toenail bit.
Sleeping like you at your granny house with your cousins. That's what it reminds me
It
of.
is making a
Like,
pallet on the floor.
but those was a good time. Like those was good
Those are
times.
great times.
But we're
But
adults
these are
now.
different bodies. And my body cannot lay on the floor like it used to.
That is very true. I need to sleep in a specific way, or I wake
I
up
have
sore,
to.
shoulder sore, all that
Like
kind of
even
stuff.
like a specific pillow. Like I'm getting up there. It is not like before. You could take one of them decorative pillows off the couch, lay on the floor, and somebody
Man,
throw a blanket on you, and you was good. You slept like
everyone grew up. I think everybody black grew up like
we
that.
grew
Like
up
they had to. 'Cause I
exactly
hear the
the
same
same.
stories from everybody.
Oh, of course. And then it was funny. So today at church, the pastor was using quotes that all black parents use, and then but he's from Jamaica, and he was like, "I want to see if some of these translated across the water." And it was so funny because everybody knew him.
So was
And
he like repeating? Like was he saying them, and then people was finishing the
yes,
sentence?
yes. So he just started it. But stop crying, or I'm gonna give you something to cry. Well, I was like, wait a minute.
That's
Is it like ancestral that
Yes,
we know it?
I was just gonna
Because
say
he
it's
was like,
generational. It's
yeah.
definitely that is passed down
Like if that's in Jamaica, how did it get
all
here?
across the world. I think every black individual that's a kid that has grew, and you don't even have to have both parents in the household. It's just
No,
it can be the daddy or the mama. They gonna say the same thing. Like,
just on repeat.
but
Just on repeat.
I guess the good thing about that is that at least it teaches. Well, I don't know if it taught. Never mind. I was gonna say at least it teaches us like, hey, have some respect. I just don't feel like there's a lot of respect in today's youth. Maybe we don't use it as
It's
much
true.
anymore
Yeah.
because people think it's too what's the word that people use now, like
A certain type of
toxic.
parenting
Yeah,
or
like
whatever. Yeah,
toxic
toxic,
parenting or
yeah.
whatever it is.
And
Yeah.
I get it
Like,
to an extent. Like there still has to be some respect. And I'm not gonna re-preach the message, but he went into some stuff and talked about like different ways people show respect.
mm-hmm.
And you just need to set the standard for your household and just make sure it aligns with what shows honor, because that was his thing. It wasn't really respect, it was showing honor. And God said to honor your parents in the same way that we honor him, in the
Mm-hmm.
same way a husband's supposed to honor his wife and a wife is supposed to honor.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's honor, it's not necessarily respect is kind of like putting some pride in it and like, no, I'm an adult, I've been through stuff, like just respect me, versus like honoring that person just for who they are in your life.
But see, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know if that's been passed down, and I mean, I still use it with my kids, but I don't
I
know if it's been
try
passed
not.
down
I
across the
hate
board.
hearing it come out of my mouth. I start the sentence and
Because
I'm
you're
like,
grown now.
"Stop crying, mom. Stop
you
crying."
you grown now. You're an adult now. Like that's the official. Like when you start hearing your parents in yourself,
Yeah.
you know, and ain't no more. It's you an adult now.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
it's
Oh,
official.
yeah.
Even though you back then you paying your bills and car note and house note. Once you hear that in your voice,
Oh.
you know it's no going back.
No, it's like it was like a "that's so Raven" moment. I went back and I'm like, I'm not finishing this sentence. I can't.
I do it. I do it now, and I laugh. And I'm just like, it just is what it is. Like it's in you, and you know it's gonna be in you. And once you start saying it's like, yeah, I'm my mama or I'm my daddy, and that's just the way it goes.
I can agree with that. Well, hopefully what we get from InvestFest is new stuff that we can pass down, and our kids will learn new sayings and things that'll be financially related, and we can get some more stuff that we can pass down, create some legacies and some growth, and remove some of the toxicity, but still make sure that we're honoring and respecting and all that good stuff, but just some other stuff that we can pass down to our kids so that they understand like financial literacy is so important.
What's the top number one thing that you want to pass down to your son? Out of everything that gets bounced around on social media, we got to do this. You got to do trust. You got to do IRAs. You got to do insurance. What's the number one
Financially
thing?
related?
Mm-hmm.
That's a good question. That's a good question. I haven't thought about it,
I would
but
say me personally
mm,
is the actual education.
yeah,
Like I know that sounds like cliche, but it's almost like if you don't teach your kids the education of finances,
mm-hmm.
it doesn't matter how much money you're gonna stack up. Like it don't matter
True,
how much money you're
true,
gonna have, how much
true.
insurance money you're gonna
Yeah,
get, how much stock
mm-hmm.
money you're gonna get. Because once you give it to them, they're just gonna
Yeah.
blow it. And so it's just kind of like if I can get my kids to actually see. Right now they don't care, right?
No,
Like they're like,
absolutely not. They do
hey, buy
not.
me this,
Can I
buy me
have
that.
it? Can I have it?
But in
That I think
education,
that's
it
my
has to
name.
be.
I just turn around. Even when I hear other kids ask it,
Can I
I'll
have
be like, "Oh, sorry, I thought that was mine."
That's not my name, but I guess you can make it my name. But yeah, education. I just feel like just understand how it all works, so that way you're not just blowing it. And I get it. Like you can do trust, you can
Mm-hmm.
do
Mm-hmm.
all those things, but I just want them to get the education and understanding of finances overall. So
I'm gonna say something.
don't, don't say when you say things like that, I'm like, okay, we cancel for sure.
We're not
Cancel.
gonna get canceled. I'm gonna disagree with you,
Okay.
and I'm gonna relate it to other things in the same way that we were just saying. Like we say the same things that our parents said.
Mm-hmm.
There's also some things that we do. Like for probably my first 2 years of college, right? When I was in college and I grocery shop,
Mm-hmm.
I bought all the things that I saw my mother buy. I was buying that brown tub of like what was it like Crocker whatever the butter in that big brown tub.
I think everybody has those
Yes,
tubs at their
because you
house.
use them as Tupperware later, right? I was still buying that, and then my friends were like, "Why do you buy that? It's not actually real butter." And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, "I grew up on this.
This is real butter.
If
This
there's
is what we-
anything in the world that's butter, it's this. It's whatever's in this tub. I don't know what it is. But this is
I can see those
Yes.
canisters now. Them brown writings and
Yes.
yep, I know what you're talking about.
So it was repetitive motion to know that okay, grocery shopping required me to buy these few essential things.
Mm-hmm.
I am okay with, and I only say this because today I realize that everybody doesn't understand finances the same. I am okay with my son knowing which steps to do, even if he says, and people say, hey, why is the first thing you do every time your kid gets a social security number is get a life insurance policy?
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay with him saying, oh, it's because that's what my family does. That's what my mom did. That's what, I'm okay with that being the answer as long as he remembers that's what we do and he passes down. This is what we do.
So instead of groceries, is life insurance policies, stocks, all that.
Yes,
kind
I would
makes
be
sense.
100% okay with him knowing like I don't really know why I have to put $50 a
But
pay
just-
period
just
into
do it.
stocks,
Yep,
but this is
yep.
what my family does.
That's a good habit.
And I would be 100% okay with them just having a habit and like understand it later because everybody doesn't have that financial mind, and I didn't understand that more than I did today. So knowing that there are going to be some people who don't understand financial literacy and don't want to grasp those concepts, they might be more of a creative and they may have other goals. As long as you can repeat the pattern that you grew up with because it was healthy and you saw that it was fruitful, like I would be okay with him just following the steps.
So then I guess you're saying just set, but see setting those good healthy. But what's the difference between? I mean, is your kid now? Is he putting like whenever he gets allowance or whatever? Is he putting something back, like, or is he just still?
He
like,
saves all of his money.
What?
He only wants to spend my money.
And
I was like,
that is excellent. Then he is light years ahead of the game. Then
exactly. Like, he will say things like, "Oh, I have $74 now," and then like, "Can we go to the store?" And then we get there, and he's like, "Oh, I forgot my wallet." Like, and I was like,
tap
boy,
the pocket.
this
like,
ain't so.
I ain't even got it on me right now.
Let me see. I forgot it.
Can you give me? I got you when I get home. Like,
and I told him what I was gonna do is set up one of those accounts so that I can just debit it to my card.
See, you trying to kill his guy. Hey, I mean,
it's because I don't want him to get into scamming. I don't want him to become a flex driver. I don't.
Shout out to Amazon. But like, isn't it, I don't think it's scamming. I just think, hey, if he forgot his wallet.
No, he didn't forget his wallet. What I want him to know is that if he really wants something, and you know what though, that is one thing. So he does not really like cheap toys, right? And it's
Like
it's kind
dollar
of
store or
frustrating.
five dollar
Exactly.
toys.
So like I like Five Below because there's a lot
Mm-hmm.
of stuff in there, and he's like, oh, that's cool. And he might grab a thing or two, but like the one thing he really wants is those really expensive action figures, the ones that they make limited,
So
and I
like
have to buy them off
25,
of like
$30.
eBay
Oh, so you
and
talking about for
Macari,
real, for
40
real?
to $60.
Yeah,
Like
I was thinking 20. You talking about the for real
the
ones?
$20 ones at Walmart, and I buy those, and he'd be like, "I like it. It's just not the one I really wanted." And I'd be so irritated because nobody wants to put forth the effort into getting a gift, but at the same time, I say that about gifting. Period. If you're not
Mm-hmm.
going to give me what I've asked for when you ask me what do you want as a gift, like
Don't get it.
don't get
Just
the gift.
leave it.
Just give
Just
me a
let it be. Yeah,
card. Yeah,
just
happy birthday. You're
or you
thinking
come
of you
little
on this
gift
day.
cards. Yeah, that
Something.
way I can use the money for what I want to do.
Exactly. But I just need when he wants a gift or he wants a specific toy, it's
Mm-hmm.
usually expensive and he knows that. And when I told him, okay, but you gotta use your money, let me tell you something. He grabbed that little wallet and came in my room was here. It's 37, but I'm gonna give you the extra for that extra stuff that they be
Just for
charging.
you right
And I was
here.
like, the taxes?
Yeah, here's a little something for you on the
He
side.
was like, just some, and he was like, remember that? And he just tells people now, remember that toy that cost $37, but I gave you 40?
Hey,
So
it's in his
lower your voice.
it's in his mind. I was like, yo, I gave you extra for them taxes, girl.
He did. He did. And I was like, okay. Like, so when he's serious about something, he don't
Mm-hmm.
mind spending that money. But
Mm-hmm.
like when it's like, oh, this toy might break, so I don't want to use my money.
That,
Like I want to say that for my good stuff.
see, that's what I'm saying. That's a good habit though, because then when you go out and maybe he want to purchase some property or a new car, whatever you want to do, it's like,
True.
yo,
True.
I need to find what my money's worth and what that
Yeah.
thing is worth
True.
versus just. Cause I know growing up for me, if I bought a car, I'm just trying. Hey, I got 1,200 on me that I saved up.
Yep.
Give me whatever you got out there that's gonna drive for the day. Like if it's gonna drive today, that's all I need it for. The next week is broke down. So that's a good habit. That's an excellent habit, actually.
He's good with money. He's good with like understanding finances, and he's really good with real estate.
Mm-hmm.
So when I take him on house tours, I have to tell him like when we're people who I don't know personally,
Mm-hmm.
don't give no opinions.
Just
You
be,
heard him.
just be quiet.
Just come and tell me later or when we
Mm-hmm.
get in the car. And he will come and tell me, like, he'll walk the house first quickly, turn
Mm-hmm.
on all the lights, and he knows, like, we turn on the lights so we can see everything. He's like, they have cracks in the master bedroom, and they have cracks in this one. The foundation's messed up.
I don't think the foundation's
Like,
good.
yeah, like, he's like, and I looked outside, the roof in the back, it looks terrible.
So he's been on enough to actually know what to look for then.
He's with me all summer just looking at properties
Mm-hmm.
with different people, townhomes. He's looking at them like built in construction. He understands that the green is like the termite spray, the termite 1 year prevention. Like because he's seeing it and he's touching it. I'm like, don't touch that. And I'm explaining to him what it is. Like so he's very aware. And there's
How
a
old
lot
is
of
he again?
He's 9. So like
that's insane.
so
That's
there's
good.
some stuff and then like I've even said stuff, and I'd be like, "Oh yeah, you're gonna make some good money off of that." And he leaned over and he was like, "Equity," and I was like, "That's my boy."
Equity. That's the realest thing. Equity. I think
Yeah.
if we segue into some equity, is what we have to start getting like in whatever it is. Like I don't care if it's you selling a T-shirt or
doesn't
you make a
even
design.
matter,
Like it has to
yeah.
be. It's so good for him to understand it and know that. Like at 9, I would
Nope.
equity. I don't even think I knew how to pronounce it. I don't even think I knew the word existed.
I didn't.
Equity.
It never came up in anything I ever read, and it wasn't in Goosebumps.
Yeah. Hey, don't start on the throwbacks. Cause I start talking about throwbacks 90s all day long. But yeah, equity. I feel like especially in today's time, like we have to the music that our people produce, the creative artwork our people produce, whatever it is, when we go into partnerships with other people, like we have to gain. It has to be more than just, man, look, I created this. This is awesome. This is amazing. No, what equity am I getting out of this? What part of this am I getting out of this? What piece of the business am I getting out of this? Because creating something one time and then just getting one lump sum is cool, but then that disappears quick versus getting paid for something over and over and over again long when you're off doing other stuff and other
And
things.
see, that's what ET talked about that one time. And I love when he starts digging into finances. But he was saying like how all these things were coming and he, that's they were paying for his stuff and he
Mm-hmm.
thought that was the win until he realized it's not just about him, it's about his legacy.
Mm-hmm.
And so on his new book, he didn't take the money. He took royalties instead, and
That's
so now his grandchildren's
getting paid
grandchildren
off of it.
are going to get paid off of those royalties, and it's going to. And he's like, he's created so much now that he has made himself into a legacy.
Mm-hmm.
So he knows, and he's living a way that those books are going to have value regardless of the time period. And I was like, that is the game right there,
See,
royalties.
that's what, and it don't matter. Like, and I know some people say, because I know a few people in the acting world, like
Mhm.
even my brother, like they talk about, man, you can get paid $20 off of something, or you can get paid $100 or $1,000, whatever. But my thing is, it's money coming in that you're no longer working for. Like, to me, that's
Absolutely.
going to pay for other stuff that you want to do that can still pay you later. And
Of
to me, I think,
course.
man, you hit that on the head. Like just hear him just whisper that, like that's an awesome
It was a
thing.
very proud moment. It was a very proud moment. I promise you, it was like seeing that he got a
Mm-hmm.
scholarship to Harvard. That understanding,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's just money. I was like, what's equity? Just
Mm-hmm.
asking. He was like, it's money, and I was like, I mean, it is.
It
It
is.
is. Like, I'm not gonna overcomplicate it. I'm not gonna do that. It is literally just
I
money.
ain't got no equity on me right
Yeah.
now. Like, hey, that's money straight up.
Yeah, that's what it is. Like, no matter how you convert it or how much you complicate it, at the end of the day, equity is money. The
Mm-hmm.
equity you have in your home, it's just extra money.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I just left it as that for with him, but at the same time, like equity in everything that we do,
That's
in everything. Keep the name, keep something that makes it yours, so that you will always be able to take payment off of whatever you've done.
I'm trying to think of what I think it's Allen Iverson who, while he was playing, got a shoe deal with Reebok or whatever it is.
Oh
I don't
yeah,
remember the
yeah. I
exact.
think it was
Yeah,
him.
and
I've seen
he's
that
still
post.
getting paid
Yeah.
from Reebok for life. It's like,
Yes.
who would have thought at that moment in time, being a basketball player, being at the young age that he was at, it's like, yo,
Yeah.
this is what I want to do. I want to get paid not just now, but when I'm done, long done with
Mhm.
basketball, I still want to get paid from this shoe deal. I still want
Yeah.
to get paid from y'all. Reebok, y'all still got to pay me after this. And they signed on the dotted line like it was nothing. It's
Okay.
like, and he being out of the
He only
NBA,
wants 4 cents
but
a shoe. Yes, but forever.
because that's what I'm saying.
Not
Like,
not
four
my
cents.
forever, but
It's
forever,
my
forever.
kids,
Yes.
kids, or so. They're like, do they even make Reebok in 2053? Like,
If they do, I'm getting
I'm
4 cents
getting
off of every.
that's man, like seriously, that's the
Yeah.
big. Equity is perfectly said. Like equity has to be one of our aims, but again, that comes with education. That's why again I say,
Yeah.
if I can educate, like you educated your son on
Mhm.
what equity even is,
Yeah.
and so if you don't even know what it is, when you try to strike a deal, when you make a deal or something, you just like, yeah, I'm
The
created
number's
this.
high, so
Give me this
cool.
money, right?
Yeah,
give me
yeah.
this 50 grand. Oh, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
2 years later, 3 years later, it's gone.
It's not.
Versus somebody who, hey, I'm still getting paid $1,000 a week off of something that's
Exactly.
like that. So,
And that's why I know there was a big discussion in like people doing the Airbnbs,
mm-hmm.
whether to own it or just be leasing it. That Airbnb arbitrage, where like
I'm
if you
kind
would
of,
lease it or versus like being the owner of it. Because think about it now. If you were leasing it and now you can't use Airbnb no
especially
more,
in Dallas right now. Right.
now what are
Right.
you doing? But if I own it, that was an easy switch. Bloop,
Now you
long
just
term
rent it
tenant.
out. Yeah. Right.
That was it. That was an easy switch. And
But
now
you
I'm
gotta
still making
pivot.
money.
I'm 50-50 on it. I am. Like there's certain things. Look, there's certain things that I say yes, you need equity on, but if you can lease something and you have no like, your responsibility is, yo, I'm just getting money from this because I'm
Yeah.
leasing it. It's great, but again, it's like, but when something like this happened in Dallas where you can't
And
do
you can't
Airbnb
control it.
residence
Yeah.
anymore, it happens. But if you plan ahead and you say, hey, I know this may not last forever. I need to make sure I have a pivot plan, something
Nobody
that's going to
did
do.
that.
I'm,
All them jokes aside.
I'm trying to save all y'all out there that did it. I am. I'm trying to because it's money that you don't have to worry about. But
I get that.
I get that, but no.
And it was a good plan if it was something that would stay that way forever. But it was so new, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
if you are talking about a rental property, like rental property's been a thing since forever. Like
Right,
since
right,
the Great Depression
right.
when properties got cheap and people went crazy then with getting rental properties. Like that's not something new.
Mm-hmm.
Airbnb was new. You had to know that somebody, including Uncle Sam,
The
the city,
hotels. Oh, yep, yep.
every that
Somebody's
money
gonna
was
come
coming
hate.
from somewhere. It was going to hotels. Do you
Mm-hmm.
think they're not going to lobby and use all the money that they actually have? Not a
They're
lease
like,
that you
yo,
don't of a property you don't own.
right,
You don't have equity. You can't be like, oh, well, I need to hire a lawyer to
right,
fight for me.
right.
You don't have any equity in that unit,
Man, that's true.
and
I
so
tried to save y'all. I did.
but when it comes down to it, like having equity in that home, even if I didn't have enough money to do something else, I can take out the equity in that home and go start a whole new project,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
it could possibly pay for that home as well as whatever else is doing. So the equity, I just feel like it's more valuable, and I get it. If they made money off of it, kudos to them.
And you don't think people had no kind of pivot plan at all?
Absolutely, they built their online programs just about how to do it in the arbitrage way and how they're doing it from leasing.
I've
And
seen
it
a
was
lot of that
so it was smart. It wasn't like it was a bad idea. Like
Mm-hmm.
y'all are stupid for this. Of course this was gonna happen. No, it was a great idea. But what happens when you don't have ownership is you also don't have a say.
Man, man. When it's time for that bill to come and you don't have nothing, they can just be like, "You're not part of this."
Nope.
So
Nope.
lease is up, whatever is up, whatever.
Yeah.
You took your money. It's almost like getting paid that 50,000 up front,
Mm-hmm.
but not man.
And
That's
not having nothing else.
all right. I tried, y'all, but yeah, okay. I'm with you on that. Equity, 100%.
In real estate, it's just easy equity. And then people, you got to look at it every single way. So you got to look at it in the way of that the value of the home is going to go up and you're going to gain that equity naturally. And our area is about 3.6%, even in the bad areas. There's areas that are getting even way more than that, but 3.6% in DFW, even in the bad areas, you're getting that increase every year. You're getting the rent. You're getting a little bit over the rent or, at the rent at this
Right.
point, especially with these interest rates. But as things go up, rent's going to continue to go up and you're going to
Right.
continue to get more. Like my first rental property, I think that thing started out at like $12.45 or
Mhm.
maybe $14.45, something like that. But like now that rent's like $1,900. So, and here's the thing, that mortgage was only $1,000.
Oh, so you
So
you
now
getting
it's just
almost
you're just making,
$1,000 a month.
and I didn't do anything. The home is not any newer,
It's just.
but I have equity.
But see, now you get the cash flow and you're getting equity because your equity in your
Exactly.
home is building too.
And now to sell that home, so I bought that home for 108, and I think next door offered last week to buy it from me for 257.
What?
So I'm just, and that's just additional equity. And here's the wild thing: like even if it was to get paid off and all of that,
Mhm.
I could always get like up to 85% of the value of that home.
So you can just pull it out and
And
go
do
invest into the next thing.
Yep. Yep. And so you'll always have that. And even if you don't want to take it like, or refinancing or any of those high interest rates, you can get a HELOC loan right now, the home equity line of credit,
Mhm.
and it's lower. You're just pulling from your current loan.
So then, dang.
So that's what I'm saying. Like there's so much
you can-
equity in real estate.
you
Like
still have that
it's
equity
not one of
sitting in
those
there.
things where it's like, and that's why I was trying to tell you about your property. Like please get it because there's so much more than just the property and the rent and this and that.
That's
Even
that's how I
in
be looking at it.
my book, he said he had a house where he was paying an extra $60 a month for,
Mhm.
but he knew that the value was coming up because he had been sitting in like the town hall meetings or whatever, and he knew that stuff was coming to the area. When all those jobs came, he sold that home after skyrocketed. And so then he made the cash, and so maybe for 2 years he paid an extra $60 a month, but he sold it for like $170,000
So
more
it
than
didn't
what
even-
he
it didn't
paid
even
for.
compared to the extra that he's paying a month.
No,
That makes
just
sense.
just knowing that growth is coming.
I was sitting here trying to find something. Let me poke some holes in this. I was trying to find something, but I'm gonna just keep. I'm gonna whisper too, like the sun. Just equity. Make that a clip. Clip that up. Equity. Like
It's
seriously.
so important. We're gonna be equity in
You gonna
all
have to create a
weekend
shirt or something
Invest
from
Fest.
that. I want.
Bro, you should definitely do a shirt.
I think I.
Matter of fact, remember we were gonna do a business on with the podcast.
And just let people
We could
follow it
do equity as our thing.
and just see how it goes.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's gonna look like yet, but
Nope.
join us.
But equity is our new brand.
I guess that's the topic right now.
Yeah.
For the podcast is equity. So what else? Well, you know what? Stocks.
Yeah.
You have unless except for taxes that you got to pay if you hold it for less than a year.
Everything's gonna charge you taxes.
Right.
Sometimes
But
you just gotta
overall,
render
you
unto
got
Caesar.
100%. I'm telling you, I'll be using that in my life now. Like, okay, render unto Caesar what is Caesar. We gonna play. If y'all want to play that game, we can play that game.
Yeah.
But yeah, like stocks, real estate. What else am I'm trying to think of. Just equity. I guess I don't do music. I know people who do music.
Yeah.
And they don't
But
get
even
equity and stuff.
No, but even in like the life insurance policies and things like that are growing cash value. So one of the really cool things that I like to use those accounts for is because the interest rates, right, are incredible. They're not in any high yield savings. Ain't no high yield savings at 7 to 10%.
What's the norm?
But
interest rates
for high yield savings, you're looking at like 4.5, like up to 6% right now. You're not looking at anything at 7 plus.
Who's doing 6%?
I think what I saw was like 5.9.
And they be moving it too. I didn't know that. They move that thing down. As soon as you get in there, it's like, we dropping it.
Yeah, and they do. But you know what? CDs do the same thing. You know, after your year, like you might not be able to reinvest it for the same amount. But with, you know, the life insurance policies, you can put additional money into them, right? And it can grow at that rate. And because it's post-tax money, you can still pull it out. Like after it's grown, the extra, you can put the extra that you put in, not what you've been paying monthly, your extra. So if every year you put an extra $2,500, and then in 4 years you want to pull out $10K, you can pull out that specific $10K that you've just been sitting in there growing. And there's no tax implications on that money.
I mean, I know, because I know you're in insurance. You know, like, let me ask you a question, because I've heard it through social media a lot, all over social media. Like, say you put that $10K in over time, and then let's just say your 4th year, 5th year, you want to pull that out. Is your account still building on that interest? Is it compounding on the amount that was first in there originally, or is it from the amount that I've taken this $10K out?
That's
so
in there now.
$10K.
So it's minus $10K.
Okay, see, that's weird, because I hear on social media, and
they're not all the same. They're not all the. I know. So the CD rates are actually really good right now. So with inflation at 2%, you really want your money at 4% or higher. And CDs are normally like in the 2s and 3%. So it's not really worth it, right? You're locking it up for a year. You could make a lot more money anywhere else. But if you know you might not need this money right now or in a year, then great. And I like to do small amounts, because at least you know you're beating inflation. Like literally, if you save up $350 a month, $350 a month, $350 a month, like you put money aside, and I don't know if I can do that for the next 10 years, but I know right now with my current situation, I can put $1,000, I can put $2,000 away and put it into something because of bonuses, overtime, whatever is going on in your current life. I think that's a great vehicle, because say all of a sudden your job cuts overtime, and you're like, hold up, I might need that money. Well, now you do have that money in 12 months, and it's more than what you put in.
I was just going to ask you, if somebody's saving $350 or $1,000, like why wouldn't you put it into an insurance policy, because it's going to make more money? But you just answered that because let's just say something happened with your job, or you lost this.
I remember how nuts people went when Frito-Lay cut like part-time workers overtime, and they have been working like basically 40, full time for years, and then they got cut, and they didn't know how to survive because they had been full time, part time workers,
they've
right?
Been living their lifestyle
if you're in a situation where it's iffy, instead of putting yourself in a predicament where something might not last forever, like base your life on your part time income. Everything extra should be invested, saved, whatever, but don't plan on that forever. Like I wouldn't put that money anywhere other than a CD. To be honest, 12 months. If they flip the script on me.
Would you tell somebody that's full time to try and do that.
So if they're full time, I would say get a policy. Like, you know what your hours are. You're responsible for coming to work.
Dang, I be trying to save y'all, man. Like, help
If
y'all
you're
out.
full time, I would get a policy because you know how much you're gonna make, and very rarely do people go from making this amount and then take a huge nosedive
Right.
unless
they
knew.
get fired
But if
or
you
something.
know you're at a position that you're not truly qualified for, and this is not something that you could go and get at every single company. Like, you know that God has shown you some favor. And if you cut up, he can take it back.
Right. Then maybe.
Don't risk it,
Yeah.
okay? If you're the only person at your job, you know that specific job title requires a degree, and no one knows you don't have a degree.
Just chill out.
Chill out. Not necessarily a policy. You might want to go CD route. Just plan for 12 months at a time.
Yeah.
But at the same time, whatever you save, you can also pay on a policy annually. So, and that's another thing that I like, because for us, like, I don't always know as a realtor how much money I'm going to have next month, or 3 months from now, 4 months from now. But I know what I have this month. So for me, like, it's easier for me to pay a whole year or a semi-annual on a policy because I know when I'm getting a big check. But if I'm not getting a big check, like, I don't want to be hesitating into the next month.
Well, then couldn't you switch it up and then be like, yo, look, I don't know what's gonna happen in the future. I don't necessarily want to do a CD because it may not give me as much. I don't necessarily want to do insurance because I don't know if I still have this job or whatever the case is.
Yeah.
Couldn't you just put it in a high yield savings account and just let the thing build up? And then
Absolutely.
when you say, hey, I've got 100K or I got 50K, let me roll it into an annuity or something like that. That way, at least you're still safe.
Those are beautiful words, annuity. Yes.
I've been studying up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get the game down. I want to get the game down.
But that's an amazing plan. It absolutely, like, let it sit in the high yield savings. Let it grow. You can continually add to it without having to take extra steps. The only thing about adding to a policy, right, you got to talk to somebody on the phone.
I'm okay. See, but I guess I'll take that talking to somebody on the phone if I'm assured that, hey, I'm putting my money into a high yield account and I'm not losing anything, or if I feel protected as far as, if I lose my job or if something bad happens to me,
course,
I don't get paid anymore later on in the day. Like, I'm good with saying, hey, I got this 50K. What do I need? Show me what to do with it. How can I,
I don't, for me, I just would like, if there was a way that I could online just transfer that money.
It's coming.
It's gotta
I'm telling you, with AI and all this, it's coming.
1960s foolishness of having to call and tell them the policy number and tell them how much I'm adding and then confirm it online and then go ahead and do the transfer, like do the check-o-matic. Like,
see, I mean, I don't say I'm a conspiracy theorist or anything. I just feel like they make it that way so everybody doesn't do it, because then you start quitting. You're like, you know what, I ain't doing it. And then now it turns into, well, I guess I'm not making the kind of money that I could have been.
Yeah.
It's just conspiracy. I'm just saying, like, I feel like the higher ups make things difficult for people.
Absolutely.
So that they don't come up there with them like, nah, I'm going to make it so difficult. But anyways, the side rabbit trail. I'm just saying.
Absolutely.
But I guess that makes sense.
Do I think that the true kingpins are actually making that phone call when they make a deposit? Absolutely not. Hey, Ron, switch over 30K to my account and it's a go. It's a go.
You sitting on the line for an hour, like, what's going on here?
I said policy number. Zebra, elephant. They make you do it phonetically.
I'm sorry. Please repeat that. You like, you know what?
You do not have access to this. It's mine.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's not the easiest process, but I've gotten at least good to a point where, like, if I'm getting an income tax or even like those the stimulus checks, that's where they were going.
See, that's smart.
I used one for this house, and then when I talked to my financial advisor, he was like, you can just grow it in there, and it'll be growing at like 6.5%. I was like, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. And I was like, it's money that I'll never remember again.
Because it was a stimulus check.
Well,
I don't want to say it like that, because I know some people needed the stimulus check.
They absolutely needed it. Unfortunately, I was essential.
That was essential for me.
I almost wanted to need a stimmy.
Just give me one of those. Come on.
I need it. Okay, I wanted to need it. Unfortunately, I was essential and had extra work days instead of less work days. So it was just a good spot for me to throw money. At that time, I was doing a lot of investing, period, too. Stocks, all that stuff was just good at that time. So it was nice to focus on something other than the pandemic, but it's
So
if
now
you
that it's
have
over,
extra money, even if it's like inherited and things like that, because you have to remember, like, to put money into a Roth IRA,
mm-hmm.
like, it can't be inherited. It has to be earned income. So if you were to get, an inheritance, and you were like, oh, I can put that into a Roth. No, no, no.
Well, hold on now. Like, say you inherited, you got 100K. They put it in your bank account.
Mm-hmm.
You telling me I can't, now that it's in my bank account, I can't take that money and go put it in the IRA?
Yeah, it's not going into a Roth. It's got to be earned income.
But I'm saying, like, so they sitting there looking at it like, oh, well, you got this
I mean,
last
I'm
year
not telling you
from
that they're looking
Uncle.
at it, but what I am saying is that when they do come,
A wink, wink.
when they do come,
Right.
and they're coming for
Mhm.
all of their coins.
Man,
They're coming for all of their
but it's
coins.
my money now. I should be able to get to do what I want.
I mean,
I
your
get it. I
401k
get it.
should be your money, right? But you only get 10 years to use it. You save it up for 30 years, you only get 10 years to use it. And if you don't, they won't have. So
You're right.
they're going to come for their coins.
I don't feel it. I don't like the 401k. I'm gonna be honest. Like, 401k was great for like our parents and grandparents.
It
I don't think it's a
absolutely
great
was.
vehicle now.
It's not.
Unless your job is giving you free money and matching it.
Like a real
Other than
match,
that,
though. Like not a ghetto match that says like 25% of the first $4 that you put in of the
first
month.
$4, but after that first $4,
You only get
match
1% of
Hold
the
on.
original
Hold
$4,
on.
not of your whole
They
amount.
Johnny Cochran in me again. Like, hold on, wait a second, what? And so then by the end, it's like you just putting in your own money. Like,
It is just your own
so-
money, but there are jobs that are still matching at like 6% and 7%, like crazy amounts. And I'm like, when I'm doing someone's like profile for even some of those appointments, and they're like,
Mhm.
oh yeah, my job matches at 7%. Where do you work?
Where?
Where do you work? Like, I just want to know,
Yeah, 'cause
are they still
everybody-
hiring?
I'm
Because
saying every
if you need me,
company's
I can work
adopting-
for you
They're
part-time.
adopting that little 1%
That
here,
scam,
that whole that scam. Like,
a
I don't have to
portion
pay
of
you.
a percentage
Yeah,
of a,
exactly.
and even the CEO of our team in finance, he says if you're not getting a full match,
Mhm.
don't do it.
I think that makes perfect sense.
I wouldn't now,
Because then you can it's easier to just
And
get
to
your
be
money
honest
and
with
put it
you,
somewhere else.
I wouldn't even 401k if I got a job right now, unless they had to be matching me at 6 or higher.
But see,
If you were matching me at 6, maybe. But
it's
if you
funny.
aren't matching me at 6,
It's funny
I'm
you
like,
say that. It's
mm-mm.
funny because for the past, I say since January at my job now, I don't say where it's at, but but at my job now, I find myself every like 1 month, 2 months, every so often I'll go in there and I'll change it. Like, y'all only matching me to at 1 point whatever percent
Mhm.
of whatever I give,
Yeah.
So I keep going in and like lowering it and lowering it and
Yep.
lowering it and lowering it because it's almost like I'd rather just invest my money somewhere right now.
Exactly. So to
versus-
me, I was putting a lot in my 401k.
Mhm.
So I would easily put that into a policy
It just makes so much sense.
because it's growing
Ditch
faster.
the 401ks, man.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. Unless if your job is matching at 6% or higher,
Tell me what job.
send me an application.
Send me a DM.
Yes.
Send me a DM on what job that
Specifically,
is.
yes, and then talk to your manager on my behalf. I'm
I'll send you
available
the
part
resume
time
right now.
I would take that company match. 6%
7%?
of whatever I put in, y'all can have my whole check.
That
I'm gonna be
just-
honest with you. Just take whatever the max is. I'm max.
That makes perfect because man, they jipping me. I
Yeah.
gotta go back and look because like we were just saying, like it's like 1% of your 3% of the first $12 of the first month.
If anything, I will max out your Roth because you should be
Mhm.
able to do a Roth.
Mm-hmm.
I will max out your Roth every year.
But
Use
see,
that money.
I always think about like what's the
Because
upside to Roth too.
So the reason why I say max it out now is because once you start earning too much, you can't.
I mean, they won't let. Oh, hold on, wait.
Yeah, there's an income limit.
Oh, so once you hit a certain income, they won't let you
so
put
like if
nothing
you're a
in
single
there?
person, once you start earning 146 a year, you can't put anything into it no
I
more.
thought you can do up like 6,000 or something like
So
that.
you can do 6,500 if
You're
you
under.
earn below 146,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
then
once you pass that, they're like, we don't care what you do.
so I didn't realize like my check got bigger, and I was like, I don't know if they know or not, but somebody gave me a raise.
See?
But no, they didn't give me a raise. My yearly raise kicked in. It put me over that amount, and they
And
were
so
no
they
longer
just-
contributing
So they
to
was
my
putting the money
Roth.
back on, or
Yeah,
leaving it on your.
and I was buying shoes because I thought I got a sneaky raise.
Come to find out, oh man, I ain't even investing in my IRA.
I was not. And I was like, I don't know what's wrong with y'all. My number has been the same for a long time.
Wow.
And I didn't realize they you kick you out.
So you rich. I ain't hit that point yet.
Rich, I
Rich.
mean, that was my salary. Those were my salary earnings. Now that I'm an entrepreneur, those earnings are different things.
We report those a little different, but that's different. I mean, I get it, but at the same time, I guess if you're making over 140, 150K, why would you want to put an R? You can put your money in. That's
So
what
much
I was
other
saying.
stuff, but it
Yeah,
was just
exactly.
nice to be able to do it like through the job and put that money.
And they
You know what
just
I mean?
snatch it
Because
up. You ain't gotta
yeah,
worry
you don't
about
have to
it.
look
Yup,
at it, and you
yup.
have to know, and you could put in like how much you want them to take out for the year,
Mhm.
and they'll just take out increments, like whatever it is to match. So as you get a raise, like they'll adjust how much they're taking to make sure that you put in
That
the
certain
full
amount,
amount, yeah, for the year.
That makes sense. But yeah, if you're making more than 150, there's definitely better vehicles you can put your
Oh
money in
yeah,
an IRA.
oh yeah. And I mean, I like the Roth IRA because it is after tax money. Unfortunately, an annuity is like a 401k where you get taxed on taking it out. So that's the only thing is like you want to have enough in your after tax bucket that you can balance out all of
But
the
you don't
taxes because
you
you
don't
don't know
get
what.
taxed on the amount you put in at first, do you? Just what grows from it, right?
Yeah, just the
Yeah.
growth,
Okay.
just from your growth, and they grow so fast that
You don't want them
they're,
taking that.
they're gonna take some.
Ooh, it's looking good.
I
Like,
promise you, the first time I was listening to one of the annuity seminars, and they just kept saying like annuity with like other endings. So like,
mhm.
as long as you don't annuitize the annuity, and then you want to make sure you're reporting that yearly to the annuitant. And I was like, y'all cut this out. Y'all are just making up words.
Making up words to take my money is what you're doing.
I was like, the annuitant.
I mean, I get, yeah, it sounds.
It
It just
does.
sounds
It
like they
does.
want to take your money,
It
and in my mind, I'm
absolutely.
like, yeah, that seems
I
right.
mean, they're growing it so quickly in an annuity that I get it,
Equity.
yeah, you render unto Caesar and just call it a day. But at the same time, you want to have enough in your after tax bucket. Like, in life insurance, you get, the after tax amount because it was taxed
Mhm.
money that went into it. So you're getting that, but you want to have, I think you would want to have other things. Like I still have my Roth, and I'm actually waiting for it to grow a little bit more, and then I'm gonna
Roll over
annuitize it.
that makes sense. That makes sense. I always tell people like people ask me like all the time like what'd you start investing with first? What'd you do first? And I'm like, man, first thing I started doing was stocks. Just learning about how to do stocks.
Mm,
But if I can go back, like I wouldn't do stocks first. I wouldn't even do real estate first. I would do life insurance first. Like I would put money into life insurance
yeah,
first because it's gonna be the best vehicle to
yeah,
grow your money and the best vehicle. Like once you're gone, it it instantly makes whoever is the beneficiary of that policy rich. Like it's just
yeah,
like, oh,
yeah.
now you have this money to do
Yep,
what you want to, tax free. Like you can do
yep.
whatever you want to do with it. So I used to be like, yo, man, you need to try stocks, and if you can get into real estate, da, da, da. But now I
Yeah.
tell people now,
But you
insurance.
also, another reason why you would want to do insurance first is because when you get that insurance policy and you do it first,
Mm-hmm.
you do it before diabetes, you do
Before
it before
before all the
hypertension,
stuff kicks
you do it
in.
before you have a bad
How
knee,
come
you
my
do it before
shoulders is
hip
working?
surgery, you do it before having children. Okay?
That
When
makes
you do
sense.
it then,
Yep.
that is you pay like
Yep.
$1 a year
Yep.
for a
Yep.
gazillion-dollar policy
Versus trying to
because
do it at 40, 50, 60 years.
and
Yeah.
they're like, oh, okay, what medications are you on? Hold
Selling
on,
that,
hold
selling it,
on.
reading off the bottles.
I'm on. I don't even know what this one's for. Yeah, I'm on that one.
Sucramaximone.
Yeah,
Yep,
yeah.
yep,
It's a
yep.
whole bunch of stuff, and when you start writing that stuff down, the insurance, the price is going up, and the
The
value of what you're getting is coming
coverage is
down.
coming down. Yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah.
you want to do that first anyway. And then what's really cool for me is like at that time I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, right? And the guy, thank God I had a black guy. I'm sorry, but like he understood.
What?
He understood because I was like, look, I don't know what you're actually doing. It sounds like you're trying to swindle me, but I don't have more than $50 a month to give, right? That's what I said. I
Mhm.
said nothing over $50 a month. And he was like, ye are. Right? Like, he didn't say it. But at the same time, I could tell that this man was frustrated because he was like, what am I like right now? If I was trying to write a policy for somebody and they were like, yeah, can you just put me down for 50? I'd probably hang up on them. I probably would. Like, what are you gonna do with that? But that man had all the faith in me. He was like, she's not ready, but I want to set her up for success. And he was like, I have to do this, and we have to go ahead and do this. He was like,
Mm-hmm.
because if you pass away in a car accident on your way home and you submitted an application because you haven't been denied, you're covered. Did you
So
know that?
so basically, you'd have paid $50
And
and
I
got
hadn't
a
even
five
paid
hundred.
nothing yet.
Oh, so you got the whoever your son, whoever would have got the
Yes.
500 million, 250. See, and that
And
again.
I was like, oh, I like that. So he's not trying to swindle me. And I was grateful that I was able to get as much as I was.
Mm-hmm.
And so what he gave me was a convertible term policy. And so now, as I begin to earn more money and put more money aside, I can convert out of that policy.
Into
I can take away into that and make it a whole life or make it something else that grows cash
that's
value.
real equity.
Yeah, because as a term, it's not anything, right? It's just protecting him
Right.
in case something happens to me.
Right.
But I only gave him $50 a month as my budget, and it was
Man,
46.
That's the best.
Right, it was 46. So he was like, here's what I got you.
Right.
But as we went on, and he was like, you know, you can convert out for your son too and build him a college plan. Well, let's do that, and it'll build cash value. And let's build out, and let's build out this one into a whole life for you, so you get some cash. Let's build this one out into a. So I have a bunch of different policies
Mm-hmm.
that I've built out from that original term.
From that one policy.
Yeah, and so now, like, it was originally 1.25 million for the term, but the term now is only worth like 400 and something thousand because all of the other money is in the other policies.
Man.
So I appreciate him understanding my finances at that moment.
Stocks is excellent. Real estate is excellent.
Yeah.
Business, running your own business is excellent. But I'm telling you, I've got to get more deeper into understanding insurance, life insurance as well. But it just seems like, and I know a lot of, in social media, it's like these great debates of what's better, term and whole life and all that. But at the end of the day, after just looking at stuff, it's like it's probably best to get all of them if you can afford them.
You do need all of them, yeah.
Get something because it's the next.
And get it young. Don't wait until your everything hurts and you know it's gonna rain tomorrow because your knee acting funny. Get it while you're young because I promise you, this weight is not the weight that I was 10 years ago when I got that policy. That policy came back like this, right?
So you
if I was defending a policy now, they would be like, can you give us a call? We're going to have to send someone out for blood work.
About $3.
I'm not on any medications or anything, but at the same time, they're looking at height and weight like, that's not...
I guess we can pay out $5.
Look, we're going to have to put some restrictions on this because the way this is looking, like you want to get it when you're young, you want to get it when you're healthy, and then you want to, if you got to get something cheap, get something cheap. But you want to make sure that if you're a parent and you have kids, like you want to make sure that your kids are at least covered. You want to make sure they're covered.
Sense. Yep, I agree. So if I'm leaving a podcast with anything, I know, especially millennials and the day and time now, we want to invest and grow money and do all these things. Stocks is great. Real estate is great. Having your own business is great. But I would definitely say make sure you get some kind of insurance policies for yourself, for your spouse, for your kids, whoever. That way, because it covers you, it covers them, and it also pays you. Like it's a different ball game.
Absolutely. And then another thing, you can also get like long-term care for your parents.
On your own policy for your parents. See what I'm saying? Like that means
so you can buy long-term care separate now. Yeah, I know. We'll have to do a separate one on long-term care because that's so important. Because I know for a lot of people, like they're gonna have to move their parents in with them for a lot of reasons, including the fact that each home now is, cost $7 million to purchase. So we got to live together, right?
Interest rates 15%.
And it seemed like the interest rates transferred over into the nursing homes because the dumb joke was like $7,500 a month. I was like, wait a minute.
Stays with my sister right now. So.
Absolutely. So like having that extra, that long-term care in case something does happen, and something can happen as far as like not just old age, but like a car accident.
Yeah. Anything.
And when you're not able to do two of your normal daily functions on your own, the long-term care kicks in.
Yeah. And
you're covered, and you're still getting money monthly, and your expenses are covered. Like we need that.
Yeah.
We need that. Like other families been doing it, and their kids are not burdened when their parents get ill. They can't wait to fly out and spend time with
Yeah,
them and take
yeah,
them to their favorite places and just enjoy, because they're not like, dog, I can't even go see you because now I got to pick up extra shifts to cover whatever you're gonna need.
right,
Like
right.
it's like we haven't known, so we've been working backwards and working against ourselves because that knowledge was not there. But now that I know, like long term care is a must
I
have.
was just gonna say like it's. I mean, it's also, and we can't. I don't think we. That's a whole nother conversation. That's a whole nother podcast. But I will say, we also started late
Oh
as
yeah.
Black people. We also started
Oh
late
yeah.
because of the hurdles that was put in front of
Of
us. But at
course.
the same time, it's almost like because we know what those hurdles are now,
Mhm.
we've got to figure out a way to get past those hurdles. Even though, again, we
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
that set us back, but we've got to find ways to get past those hurdles. And I think real estate, I think stocks, and I definitely think now, like
Mhm.
insurance is the way to go
Yeah.
to get us to where we need. But
What
that's
I
another
would like,
podcast.
if something was to happen to me tomorrow, I would like for my son to be able to have family around to comfort them. There's enough money for that.
Mm-hmm.
I would like for him to be able to receive whatever therapy he needs from losing his mom at a young age. There's enough money for that.
Mm-hmm.
I would like for him to know that he can pursue whatever dream he wants. That's what his whole life policy's for. Like
He's got money for
he's
that.
got
Yeah.
money for everything that he needs. Like it's not like he's gonna be lacking what I could have provided for him. He's only gonna be not like lacking me,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
like not like, oh, because all things have, like, everybody doesn't need a struggle story. Like people are turning out okay without the struggle. They are. They're
Some
turning
people
out
ain't
just
gonna like
fine.
that. They want the struggle
I know.
story. They
I
want to know you
know.
came from nothing.
And I don't want him
Yeah, I agree with that.
to have to put out a GoFundMe to
Or
cover.
what's the fish fries and
We're
things.
not doing that to cover funeral expenses. Like the least you could do, like I'm serious, like the least I could do, even if I was at a job I hated and I wasn't making a lot of money, I would I would have to budget out, even if it's $35 a month. Like I got a large term
Mm-hmm.
policy for $25 a month. At 25, I can get a nice policy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And just cover me until I can do more for myself, for my child. But at that time, if all I can do when I die is leave them with enough money that they don't have to try to figure out how to take care of me
Right.
even though I'm gone, I'm gonna do that thing.
Right. That makes sense. I ain't got to spend or figure out how to come up with 10, 15
Yeah,
grand.
or think
just
about having to go
have
to
a
work
funeral
early or having to come up with,
without
making
grieving
money.
properly. Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
And there's so many like this. We might have to literally cover on a whole other podcast. There are so many of us who don't truly grieve at the time of a death because there's so much else on our plate. Like sometimes my family be so busy arguing over a casket
Mm-hmm.
that people can't even truly grieve. And I know even for my mom, like she started grieving years after her mother passed. Like she went down there to get her affairs in order. The company that had her life insurance policy went out of business. It's in Barbados. Like that stuff is ghetto. It is. The whole island is. It's beautiful. But like the systems and stuff that's set up, it's ghetto. And they don't know that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, but at the same time, like there was so much stuff to set up. You got to get the household. We got to figure out what's going on with this policy.
Mm-hmm.
We got to pack up all of her things. We got to give this stuff away to neighbors. Like there's so much stuff that you have to do. And now, like a lot of those plans for like your final planning, you can do them on your own. You can do that stuff on your own now.
Don't even.
And I talk about it a lot, like probably more than I should in my 30s. But I talk about that now, like cremate me. Like I don't want. I don't want you coming to visit me at a cemetery. Like I don't want people get tied to a city, and there are people in Dallas. It's so annoying when they're like, I don't know, I'll never really leave Dallas. Like, what do you mean? My mama buried here. Like I get, like your mama's buried here.
Right.
This is where your mom is buried.
Well,
leave, go
some
do.
People, some people would rather just.
What would your mother want? She would want you to go live your life.
She didn't write it down, which is our
which is
people's
the
problem.
foolishness.
Like, you got to write it down. I don't know what she wanted. So.
Yeah, but at the same time, people get so tied to a place because of where their parents are buried.
Mm-hmm.
They get tied to a place because of memories, and they'll also get tied to a place because they have not had a chance to grieve. And like, it's so important that like we have enough struggles.
Yeah.
Like we can't add
More,
built up because and like you lose a parent, I don't know what I would do. Yeah, like I don't know like how to function forward, but I know that my mother's affairs will be taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
That I'm comforted knowing that I can actually grieve my mother. And I think people don't realize how much they need that. But think about how many people have not had an opportunity to even grieve their spouse. Oh my gosh. I remember when I was in Kansas, there was a guy, I was working in the warehouse there, and his wife and his child died in a car accident together while he was at work. And the only way he could pay for them was to come to work.
So he didn't even grieve at all then.
No. And what happens is he started deteriorating. And like in a year, this man looked like he aged 30 years. I promise you, all of his hair gray. And he had a young child. He wasn't old. He grayed, like he just looked wore down, like he looked aged. And it's like that stuff wears on you physically when you're not taking care of yourself mentally and spiritually. That stuff wears on you. You have to be able to take time off.
Man, you made me go to a place. Look, I was just sitting there watching and listening. Like, you made me go to a place. Like, goodness, I think that's black people and even Latino people, like we look at insurance in a totally different light for some reason. We look at it like almost like we do with car insurance or something. Like, man, I'm gonna just get liability if I gotta get something. Like, I don't need no full coverage.
Let me
I'm
get
not
the liability on my mama.
What's that? $30 a month? I can do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, why is that? I don't know. I asked a friend that the other day too. Like, why? How did that? Did that just get passed down? Like, why do we look at insurance in that manner? Like, why is it something that's like, oh, we don't need that. We don't do that over here type of thing. Like, we don't do it. What's that?
And to be honest, like, I think car insurance might be a scam.
But I mean, I don't want nobody hitting me and they ain't got no insurance to pay for my stuff though. So I don't
Me
know
either.
if
But if they don't have no insurance, you still got to pay the deductible.
I do, but
that's the part that makes me angry. It's like, no, I paid you guys. So in case they didn't have it, you pay. That's why I'm paying you, and that's why I say it's a scam. Not because like it doesn't do what it's supposed to do. It does what it's supposed to do. You know, it didn't do what it was supposed to do during Katrina. You know, when State Farm left a sign on her, handwritten sign that said, sorry, we're not paying these claims.
Did they really?
Oh, yeah, they got sued like crazy. Yeah, absolutely. A lot of the insurance companies were like, oh, well, no, you had wind insurance. This looks like more water damage. Like, it's gone. It's just a concrete slab.
They got to wiggle out of that thing.
And they did. They wiggled out of a lot.
And they didn't have to pay the claims?
They had a lot of people that they didn't have to pay.
Man, it's a lot of stuff that you bringing up that's making me just be like, hold on.
And think about it, like all that stuff that my mom went through at that time and through a bunch of different stuff. But I was just thinking, like, even during that, there was no like real break for my mom, right? Like if there had been other things set up, other types of hazard insurance and all those types of things, like you would have had a break. But like we were trying to figure out how to get to Texas where her sister lives so that we could get in school, so that her grandson could get in daycare, so that her kids could find new jobs, so that she could find a new job. Like it's never ending. And at no point has she gotten to say,
I just need to cry. Or
something, anything.